Can you believe that we're in a new year already? Welcome to 2025. To kick off this new year, I decided to start it off with a 4-part mini-series. So there's going to be 4 episodes going out today, tomorrow, the day after, and then the following day after that, talking about a highly requested topic that I've shared a little bit on here before. It is all about cycle syncing, and we're going to be diving into the 4 different phases in each of these episodes. So today we're starting with the winter phase, the time of recovery and self-care during menstruation. I'll share how this phase can help you reset and recharge, plus give you practical ways to embrace its slower pace and align with your natural rhythm. Let's get started. Feeling stuck in the chaos? If you're ready to regain control of your home, schedule, and time for yourself, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Jynae, a wife, mom, and homemaker who turned my household chaos into purpose with simple, flexible routines. I'm here to help you create a cozy, clutter-free home and reclaim your time for what matters most. Grab that laundry basket and let's get started. Okay, so first things first, before I get into anything, if you're new here, or if you have been listening to my episodes but haven't yet heard me talk about cycle syncing before, I want to first mention 2 earlier episodes that lay the groundwork for cycle syncing out. In episode 6, I explore the deeper why behind this practice and how it can help you feel more in tune with your body. And then in episode 10, I walk you through the actionable steps to begin syncing your cycle with simple changes to your routines. And these episodes are like your starter kit for cycle syncing, perfect for if you're new to the concept or you need a refresher. So if you haven't listened yet, it might be helpful to pause this episode and go check those previous episodes out first before you continue on with today. And the links for both of these episodes I just mentioned will be left for you in the show notes. Okay, so moving on, since this is a mini-series, I want to get right to the goods of this episode. So what is the winter phase and when does it happen? I have talked about this before, but just to give you a reminder and just a summary of it, the winter phase occurs during menstruation, and that, it's different for every woman, but it lasts 7 to 5 days on average. So I personally love analogies. Anytime someone gives me an analogy, I just learn and remember that thing that they were telling me so much better. So for this mini-series, I came up with a seasonal analogy to share with you for each phase. So to dive into that, the winter phase mirrors the stillness and the quiet of winter in nature. Just as the earth rests to prepare for new growth in the spring, your body needs that time to recover and restore during your menstruation time. So think of it as a phase as a cozy retreat, pulling back to focus on yourself and replenish your energy just as nature does. God made the earth in 6 days, and then on the 7th he rested. So I like to look at a woman's cycle in the same way, as busy moms and homemakers tending to our houses and our families and all the other roles that we fill, because there's so many roles that we fill, right? It's so easy to pack every single moment we have with things to do, but I think it's actually super important that we remember this creation story in Genesis, because if God needed a rest day, so do we as busy mamas. But in this case, our rest phase will last anywhere from 5 to 7 days on average instead of that just one day that God took, depending on your cycle, because like I've mentioned before, it's different for every woman. So when you think of the winter phase in your cycle, you can relate it to how the Lord set the 7th day in creation, aside for rest and reflection, on the good work that he did. So we need to be doing this exact same thing. Okay, so now let's talk about your energy in the winter phase. In this phase, your energy is at its lowest, which means that it calls for a slower pace and reduced demands overall. So what you need to do is use this time to rest deeply and avoid pushing yourself unnecessarily. And in doing this, you're going to have to be super mindful about this, because I know, like I said, we're busy moms, we're carrying many hats, but you need to make this a non-negotiable thing where you really prioritize rest, because if you don't, this whole thing sets you up for the whole rest of your cycle. So it's like the groundwork, it's the foundation. Rest now so that you can have that peak energy and a good rest of your cycle throughout the rest of it all. As far as emotions go, you may feel more reflective and in need of peace because you're at that low energy, and your emotions may also be heightened at this time. So making this an important time to care for yourself emotionally as well as physically is also very important. Now, these are the recommended tasks and activities I would suggest that you do and prioritize in this specific phase. So you need to take time and prioritize rest, focus on restorative activities like naps, reading, journaling is one of my personal favorite things to do. I like to try and journal once a month. So when I do that journaling, I do it during this phase. And also like your body, like once you align yourself to cycle syncing, you'll start realizing that, like you'll recognize when you're in a phase. Like right now, I'm actually in not the winter phase. I just finished the winter phase. So I'm in the phase after that, the spring renewal phase, which we're going to get into in the next episode. But without even knowing that I was in this phase by looking at my calendar or tracking it, I actually know because of the signs. Like my mind is thinking the way that it should think during that phase. And so the reason I'm saying this is your mind and your body is going to be telling you, once you're aware of what to look for, your mind and your body is going to be telling you what it needs, what it's craving. And it's naturally, like I said, it's naturally going to want to journal and reflect in this winter phase. So that's just something I think is really cool because God designs us in such intricate and cool ways. And so the more that I've learned about cycle syncing and implemented it in my own life, I'm just like, so many times I think to myself, wow, God just made us so incredibly amazing. And like, once you align with your body and you're not working against it, because most women in the world are working against their bodies, not intentionally, but because we just weren't raised this way. We weren't taught about this. We weren't taught about it in school. Like, why didn't they teach us this? But when we do work with our bodies, it just opens up a whole new world. The other thing I want you to keep in mind of, or an activity, I don't even know if this would be considered an activity, but just something to be aware of, is you need to be simplifying things during this phase. Keep your homemaking tasks light. When you're tidying or prepping meals, make them simple. Don't go above and beyond. Don't overwork yourself. Another activity is, and I've mentioned this, is you need to be reflecting. Spend time in your journal or praying, asking God for clarity and guidance for the next cycle that's coming up or the next, couple weeks that are coming up. Like, take this time to really reflect. I call this the winter and reflection phase for a reason. Then remember that this phase only lasts 5 to 7 days, so it's really not that long. It's a week or less. So while I understand that you have lots to do, because I too have lots to do, I right now am balancing school. I'm taking school online. I'm balancing this podcast, my business ventures, my marriage, my family, extended family, my baby, taking care of my home. Like, I could go on. There's lots of things that I do, but it's just so important to really prioritize this phase. And like I said, it only lasts 5 to 7 days, so it's very short, but it is imperative and important that you do take this time to rest because it's going to set you up for success for the rest of the month. So all that to say, if you truly want to align with your body to eliminate overwhelm, chaos, all of that kind of emotion that nobody wants, you will take this time to really focus on yourself and your rest. Okay, but that's all that I'm going to share with you today. I hope that you loved this little tidbit of information. I am just giddy sharing about it. It makes me excited to talk about this topic with women and let them know how much it's changed my life. It's been a game changer, like I've said before. So thanks for listening to this part 1 of our 4-part series. If this episode resonated with you, I would love it if you could subscribe to my podcast so that you don't miss out on the rest of the series. Episode 2 of this series is coming out tomorrow, and make sure you come back for that. It's going to be super fun. We're talking about the spring renewal phase. Before you go, if this podcast has encouraged or helped you in any way, the best way that you can show your support is by subscribing to the show and leaving a written 5-star review. Your words truly make my day and remind me why I love sharing here. You can also snap a screenshot of this episode and share it with a friend or post it to your Instagram stories. Make sure to tag me at Her Stable Home. Thanks so much for listening, friend. I will see you next time.